Hello everybody, welcome to the player rating show. After Liverpool were held to a 1-1 draw with Fulham. We're going to start the poll for Alisson right now. To vote, just look at the words underneath me and copy what they say. Basically in the chat you need to type an exclamation mark, vote, space and the number. You want to give them a 9, space, 9 and press the enter button and you'll be able to give Alisson a 9. I can't imagine we're going to get loads and loads of 9s today, but Alisson Beck, it was good to see him back into the side, wasn't it? Glorious and resplendent as he is between the sticks. He made 3 big saves. Don't really think he had a chance for their goal. Bobby Reid hit a great finish and it goes flying past him. He hit it with such power and pace that I don't think Alisson was able to get to it, but 3 other good saves there. And, you know, Fulham didn't create loads and loads of opportunities, but Alisson was sound between the sticks, wasn't he? Let's be honest with you. So, yeah, I can already got an 8 out of 10, which... yeah, maybe I'm in a little bit of a bad mood. I'd have given him a 7 out of 10, but I think 8's probably fair, to be honest with you. So we're going to open it up next for Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's had another difficult afternoon there, really, for me. Not difficult in that he was tested loads and loads defensively, but difficult in the way that, like, I don't think he was really as involved in the forward play, but, you know, there's going to be a running theme here that, you know, Liverpool were absolutely turd burgers today, weren't they? They were crap. And unfortunately, I think across the board, most of them were average at best. So I'm going to find this so difficult, and I'm sure we're going to see loads of mad sort of things, votes for things and stuff like that, loads of 5s and 6s and stuff like that, because that side there today is good enough to beat Fulham, and it wasn't. Fulham played really well, they played us really well, and they get that goal up, and yet at the end of the game it felt like if there was going to be a winner, it felt to me like Liverpool were going to be that winner. And Trent, you know, planned substitution, probably comes off after 68 minutes for Nico Williams. Didn't do loads in the game, did he? It was a bang average 6 out of 10 performance for me, which I'm going to call it now. I can already see he's got a 6 out of 10 there by a good way as well. So Trent Alexander-Arnold gets a 6 out of 10. As far as the centre-backs go, you know, Joel Matip is the one we're going to open up the poll for next. So get your votes in for Joel in the comments section right now. 45 minutes. Back injury, basically, for Joel Matip. We don't know the severity of the injury yet. I was halfway through Klopp's press conference after the game. We went up to those questions that I'm sure were going to come about Joel Matip. But yeah, Joel, and to be fair, Fabinho as well, they were okay. Didn't do anything particularly wrong in the game. Yeah, it seems like such a long time ago now that we actually saw Joel on the ball. You know, heading-wise, he did all right. The passing wasn't very crisp at the back, though. I know that for sure. I think, you know, Henderson was, when he was playing in that 6 and he was dropping in and all that type of stuff, then he was sort of on their toes. And the passing was just off first half. You know, we made a joke of it during commentary, and it wasn't a joke, really, is that, you know, we couldn't string more than 3 passes together, and whether that was to do with Fulham's press or whatever, it was a thing across the board. And, you know, everybody needed to wake up first half, and you saw Jurgen Klopp say that actually in his post-match press conference, just like, how many times do you want to try and wake them up? I mean, you can't put a piece of paper on the pitch, he said, and it says wake up, but we needed that. And, you know, the change at half time, we come out and we're better second half for having Henderson in that centre-back position, but I don't really think that that was because of Joel Matip's performance or anything like that. I can see that he's been given a 5 out of 10. I'd probably have gone with a 6 out of 10 for Joel Matip, personally, but you give him a 5 out of 10, which is fair enough. Fabinho, alongside him, I got one word wrote down for Fabinho. Meh. You know, he nearly gives a penalty away. I've seen it back quite a lot now since the game itself and stuff like that, and I can probably say that I think that was a penalty. I think, you know, he does get the ball, but I do think that he takes the man's standing leg before he gets the ball. And yeah, I said at the time, look, if that's given as a penalty, you're probably not getting any arguments from me. Looking back now, not, you know, under the gaze of watchful eyes and stuff, that's a penalty, and we kind of got away with that one. Other than that, he was okay again. Passing wasn't great. You know, a few balls over the top that just seemed to be because we'd run out of ideas. And you could say that about him, you could say that about Joel Matip, you could say that about Jordan Henderson at times during the game. Again, pretty average performance. But already I can see, I'm going to call it there, Tom, to be honest with you, because over 55% of the votes are already giving him a 6 out of 10. See, that's what surprises me here. I don't think there was too much difference between Fabinho and Joel Matip. I had them down as the same mark. I'd have give Matip a 6, I'd have give Fabinho a 6. But we'll move on to Andy Robertson anyway, he's the next one. He only completed 3 of 12 crosses today, and it didn't look like the lung-busting Andy Robertson performance that we've come to expect, and maybe we shouldn't expect it at this stage. You know, we've been talking for how long about how many minutes the lad's played, and maybe this was just sort of that little one game too far almost. Obviously, he's supposed to, I'd guess, have the entire midweek game off against Midtjylland, but he has to come on for Kostas Tsimikas. He then has to play in this game. He'll be playing again Wednesday night. Hopefully, he's not run himself into the red as such. Hopefully, he will be able to pick himself up Wednesday. Well, they should be able to pick themselves up. They'll have to pick themselves up because we should have won that game, because we should have played better. And we know that it's going to be a genuine 6-pointer against Tottenham for top of the Premier League table. But Andy Robertson, again, yeah, I can see 5s and 6s coming in. It felt to me like a very much 6 out of 10 performance from him. He didn't really link well with Sadio Mane, which is something that we see a lot, isn't it? When Robbo plays well, Mane normally plays well, and the two of them are interacting and playing those little 1-2s and stuff. He had that one opportunity, didn't he, where the ball was floated over the top and he takes the cross first time. There's only Mo Salah in the box and he's unable to complete it. But he does get a 6 out of 10, which I think is fair enough. So we're going to open it up next for Gini Wijnaldum. Yeah, compared to the other midfielders, I think Jones had over 100 touches, something like that. Wijnaldum was down about 30, 40 touches, something like that, and wasn't really involved in the game, to be honest. And, you know, he starts the game and he's obviously the centre midfielder, and he's there, and he wasn't playing the 6, actually, he was playing the 8. Didn't really get in the game, to be honest. Then he drops back into the 6 second half when Matip has to go off injured and Henderson goes back into centre-back and stuff. Didn't really affect the game in a positive or negative manner. I think, you know, I had him down as a 5 out of 10, to be honest with you. I thought the other lads played okay. I thought he was slightly under par. And again, it's hardly surprising the amount of minutes that Wijnaldum's played as well. But this was our best side there that we could have put out today. And that's the disappointing thing, isn't sometimes you can just, you know, forget about it and move on to the next game. And that's what Liverpool are going to have to do. It's just one of those days at the office, as it were. And, you know, I think, as I say, Fulham did play us really, really well. And they made it difficult. They sort of attacked down the wings, didn't they, when they were building out from the defence. It makes it hard for a 3-man midfield to get over there and get involved. But Gini Wijnaldum does indeed get a 5 out of 10, which I think's about right. Jordan Henderson, yeah, I think first half when he's playing, essentially, it's too many balls just over the top, hoping for it, because I think Fulham did a really good job of playing a high line, but also retreating at the exact time that Liverpool were looking to spring their counter-attacks or spring their attacks over the top and stuff. And, you know, Jordan Henderson kind of played into their hands. I don't know whether they were sort of goading us into that ball by making us think there was loads of space there, but there wasn't whenever we played that ball, or they had 2 centre-backs and just one runner, and there was no one there for the follow-up, no runs from midfield to try and get that second ball. But when he moves into the centre of defence, you know, at times he looks like he's trying to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and, you know, I don't think he was playing well enough to do that. Obviously he has that one opportunity, doesn't he, when he gets through on goal. It's a great little through ball by Bobby Firmino, and he does, you know, it's cute, he tries to hit it left-footed, probably surprised the goalkeeper. It's a good save, it's a strong sort of right hand from the goalkeeper and stuff. That was the big opportunity, really, wasn't it, for Jordan, and he was unable to take it, unfortunately. But he was trying, and, you know, as a centre-back, he was bombing forwards, and Liverpool were really sort of, I say, the team that was trying to win that game most. At the end of the game, Fulham were holding on, but Jordan just not able to do it, unfortunately, and we're going to call that there, and that is a 6 out of 10 from Jordan Henderson, so that's fair, I suppose. And Kurt Jones, probably, for me, obviously, we're opening up his vote there. For what it's worth, he was probably my Liverpool man of the match. And, you know, Kurt Jones, he has that one chance, doesn't he, where he picks the ball up in our half and he dribbles all the way through and he's strong, gets in front of the midfielder. Then he's sort of one-on-one. Salah's making a run off to his left and he cuts inside Anderson and he plays that shot just before the left-back, I think it is, can come in and play a tackle. And it's a good save low. You just wish that it had gone in because it would have been one of the goals of the season from where he picked the ball up and the state of the game and everything else. And he was like that all day. He was finding space. He was left, he was right, he was everywhere trying to make something happen. And once again, I'll say it doesn't look like a young kid in this side anymore. He had a better game, I think, than Jordan Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum in the middle of the park. And that's saying something. These are two world-class players who've won everything now. And Kurt Jones, for me, was the guy from Liverpool who was trying to make things happen at all times. And so unlucky in the end not to be able to do that. So it's an 8 out of 10 for Kurt Jones. Fair play. He's agree with me then, probably Liverpool's man of the match. We'll open up the vote next for Sadio Mane, who first half, I genuinely was wondering where he was. There was times in that game, long spells of the game, where he just wasn't involved. And towards the back end, we started to play a little bit better after about 35 minutes. Something like that. Finally got a little foothold in the game, and Sadio Mane got a few little bits and pieces here and there, and started to work that fullback. And there was times during the second half where he was going past his man and trying to get to the byline and cut it back and stuff. But for the most part, it was a pretty average performance. It was probably a below average performance actually for Sadio Mane. We've come to expect his level to be up here. And it was a little bit down there today, and I can see the votes are coming in. I've seen 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, the occasional 8. I had him, for what it's worth, down as a 6 out of 10. Pretty ineffectual for me, to be honest with you, today. But we'll give it till the end of this one because it's close between 5 and 6 at the moment. But yeah, God, he's had so many more better games than that for us. And it's not often a team can keep Sadio Mane quiet, isn't it? And I don't know whether Fulham did something or whether he was just playing. He's kind of just off the boil a little bit at the moment. But anyway, he gets a 5 out of 10. That's low, isn't it? I can understand that, to be honest with you. And then we'll open it up next for Mo Salah. Obviously, he's the goal scorer. Sticks the penalty away. I'm glad it was low. I'm glad the keeper went with his hand and not his feet. But he stands up, and that's his 5th penalty that he scored in the Premier League this season, out of 5. So once again, he does it. And he had a couple of opportunities. First half, he drags one wide in the near post. And he gets in that sort of near post area a couple of times, and he was looking the most dangerous for me first half. And second half, I think you see the minute in his legs almost, and he starts to tire a little bit more. But he's always that willing runner, isn't he? We know what Mo can give us, and I think Sadio Mane gets a lot of credit a lot of the time for his work rate. Mo Salah's got that work rate as well, hasn't he? And he kept on trying until obviously he was taken off on the 83rd minute for Divock Origi, which I've got written down there. So personally, I had him down as better than Sadio Mane. I think I had him down as a 7, to be honest with you. We've got 15 seconds left. It's looking like a straight shootout between 6 and 7 at the moment, to be honest. So we'll let this one play out as well, see which one wins out there. But again, he sticks the penalty away, gets Liverpool back into the game, which is exactly what you need from Mo Salah. And 7 just about edges it with 39% of the vote to 37% of the vote for 6 out of 10 for Mo. And then finally, Bobby Firmino. Bobby was an interesting one as well, wasn't he? Because some nice touches. That through ball to Jordan Henderson is brilliant because he does just chip it a little dink over the defender, and he's dropping too deep. That was the problem for me today. Is when Bobby Firmino's dropping into our half, which he was doing at times during the first half, then it's probably not going to be a good day for Liverpool because we're struggling to build up through the defence, through the midfield, and then to the attack. Like getting him the ball in between the lines, of their midfield and their defence is where Bobby does his best work. But when he starts to come deep, starts to turn and get his head up, it's not quite the same Bobby. You want him just those little 1-2s and little flicks and round the corner and stuff like that. But a couple of really nice phases of play, I say moments of absolute brilliance and moments or periods of time, I should say, during the game where he's not really that involved again. And if that's not a 6 out of 10 performance from Bobby Firmino, I don't know what it is, to be honest, because it felt very much like a 6 out of 10 performance. And I can see that everyone agrees. I'm going to call that one there, Tom. 6 out of 10. It's streaked into the lead, and as it should do. So we'll go with Minamino next. He obviously comes on at half-time for Joel Matip. A bit of a strange substitution at the time. It kind of felt like it had to be an injury, didn't it? You don't take Joel Matip out, drop Jordan Henderson back into the centre-back position for then Minamino to come on in the midfield. But we've seen Minamino a couple of times in midfield. He looked bright the last time out, not great against Brighton. I think it was the first time out. It was okay. It was flat. He worked hard. He was pressing. He showed endeavour. And he was really trying hard today, Minamino. And again, Liverpool were in the best form and tough to come into a side anyway. I'd imagine, off the bench and stuff like that. But certainly coming into a performance like that at a half-time, he must have been thinking, fucking hell, boss, really? You're going to throw me in the midfield? You're going to take Jordan out? You're going to throw me into that? The lad's can't hit a pass, really? But he worked hard. And yeah, to be fair to him, like I can see 6s and 7s coming in. And I think that's about fair for him, to be honest with you. I think, as I say, he worked hard and he was trying to bring players in and he was fizzing around and all that. And he won the ball back a fair few times, the attacking Minamino today. So fair play to him for that. And I can just see now, as the vote is ending, oh Oh, 7 just about made it for Taki Minamino. Nico Williams, we're not going to open the poll for that one. He obviously comes on 68th minute, but yeah, for me, he did all right. He came in and he was doing exactly the same as Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't think he was any worse than Trent Alexander-Arnold, who we gave a 6. I don't think he was much better than Trent Alexander-Arnold, if I'm honest, as well. But again, he worked hard and he got into those positions further down the pitch. He was trying to cross the ball in, but their left back or left midfielder always seemed to be there to block it. Never really managed it, but with him and Jordan Henderson at times from the underlapping centre half, and you know, they were trying to work space. And unfortunately, at that time of the game, Fulham were just so deep that Trent was just finding it difficult. And that's exactly the same for Divock Origi as well, to be honest with you. I think he had 3 touches during his, about 10 minutes on the game now. Most people would give him a 5. I'm going footy manager. He comes on as a 6, doesn't fuck anything up, so he probably walks away with a 6 as well. But we brought him onto the game, seeing if he could get something. He didn't have a sniff, did he? And ultimately, that's just not a good performance from Liverpool. It's one we may regret, or it could be one of those ones where you go, at least we didn't get beat. Anyway, it's the instant match reaction next. You can get over there if you just stay on the video. It'll take you over there. But it's me and Paul. It's the instant match reaction. We'll talk about the big talking points. We're going to talk about VAR again. We're going to talk about penalty decisions. And we're going to talk about that performance. And then tomorrow, if you are a YouTube member, you can get the final word show, which is always great, to be honest with you. After a draw, after a loss, after a win, you get to gloat if you win. You get to dissect if it's a draw. And you get to feel better. Like, you can just drop that baggage. Like, just forget about it, and that's what I love the final words for. So come and join us as a YouTube member or a subscriber to the redmentv.com if you want to go and support us over there as well. It's massively appreciated. Drop a like on the video. I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.